All right, thanks for sending me these videos. Kind of just right off the bat, I would kind of improve four things. First one is your setup. So we got Jordan Spieth over here, good putter. See how most of his weight is on the left, on his left side. We need number one. I would have that left hip bump to the left and have about 60% of the weight on your left foot. Just stays there and starts there and stays there. If we take a look, say here's Jordan Spieth, you can kind of see how the weight just starts on the left foot and then just stays there. So let's watch his stroke. That's it. So we see how most of the weight is on this left foot. The reason that's important is because you don't want to be under pressure, kind of trying to feel, okay, am I 50-50? Am I 60% on my right foot and 40% on my left? No, you just want to put about 60% on your left foot, just starts there and stays there. So number one, kind of the weight distribution in your stroke. The second thing is I would also get your hands a little bit more ahead. We want this putter face to kind of be leaning forward slightly as you come through to try to put a little bit of topspin. Actually, you don't really put topspin, just the least amount of backspin. But the first thing is, see this bowed left wrist on Jordan Spieth. So you see when he comes through, this left wrist is bowed. So you're telling me that you like your left wrist to be bowed when you come through, but I don't see a bow in your left wrist. I see a little bit of wrist play, but I just see this kind of bent back. See a bend back on your left wrist, that's a bow in the left wrist. So number two, I just kind of make sure that if you want a bow in your left wrist, make sure it has a bow. Number three, I would make sure that I get rid of any hand action here. I would probably drop your hands down on the putter. I don't know. The first thing I would one of the things I would ask is if you have a toe heavy putter or is it face balanced. So and hopefully you know the difference. But I would have a face balanced putter. So I would also have. So we're going to put I would make sure that your backstroke is a little bit shorter than your through stroke. So if we kind of take a look at Jordan Spieth, we're going to put a dot right here on the golf ball. Here's his backstroke and there's his through stroke. So the through stroke it's always longer than the backstroke. You always want to be accelerating through the golf ball. Here, I'm going to put a dot right on the golf ball. Here's your backstroke, and then here is your through stroke. So your through stroke is way shorter than your backstroke. So you're decelerating into the putt. And that's also why you're losing any bow in your left wrist, because your hands are slowing down and then the putter head is passing the hands. We want these hands accelerating, pulling the putter head through. So number one, I would always have your backstroke shorter than your through stroke. So I would have you go back. So let's say you're hitting a 10-foot putt. I'd have you go back 6 or 7 inches and have you go through 10 or 12 inches. Number one, you always want your hands accelerating, never decelerating. It doesn't matter who it is. If you've read Dave Pell's book, you always want to accelerate your hands through the stroke. The reason being is under pressure, you don't want to be trying to think of, when do I start decelerating? How much do I decelerate? You just want to take it back here a certain length backstroke and then accelerate through the putt. And that will help make sure, because when you decelerate into the putt, the hands slow down, the putter head passes the hands, and then you start adding loft to this putter when you decelerate your hands and the putter head passes the hands. Now you've got this kind of rear shaft lean on your putter as you're making contact. So number one, most of the weight on your left foot, 60% of the weight on your left foot, start it and stay there. Number two, I'd make sure that your backstroke is shorter than your through stroke. That's number two. Number three, I would make sure that, so as I take a look here, we're going to take your eyes. I would make sure that your eyes are more over the golf ball. So here are your eyes here. I would make sure that your eyes are at least out here. The reason being is you don't care about where the eyes are really. The eyes tell you only one thing, and that's where your hands are in relation to your shoulders. That's it. So what we're trying to do here is we're trying to make this putter head go straight back and straight through and keep the putter face perfectly perpendicular to that line. In order to do that, we need the hands underneath the shoulders. Well, you've got your hands out here, and your hands are not quite underneath your shoulders. So you're swinging at on a little bit of an inclined plane from your shoulders. That's going to make you swing in to in. And that's what's going to kind of hurting your putting. Also, I'd video you from straight on to make sure this putter face isn't opening in the backswing and then closing in the through swing, which I think it is. I have a feeling this putter face is closed here. It's open in the backstroke and closed in the through stroke. So one thing I would do is I would definitely have get your eyes out more over the golf ball, maybe an inch out over the golf ball, past the golf ball, and that would get your hands underneath your shoulders. And the reason that's important is here's what's going on. We want this. Let's take a look here. So let's take a look, say Jack Nicklaus. So Nicklaus knew what he was doing. He bent over a lot. What he's trying to do is he's trying to get the top part of his spine to be perpendicular to the ground so he can swing, so that way his hands are underneath his shoulders, so his hands can go straight back and straight through. That makes the putter head go straight back and straight through. Well, when you start standing up a little bit like this with your hands outside your shoulders, your hands start making an arc around your spine if your hands are outside your shoulders. So I'd want this top part of the spine. I would slide your hands down on the putter a little bit and get this top part of the spine more perpendicular to the ground. So Nicklaus did this when he was 26 years old. Here he is putting when he's 46 years old. Kind of the same technique. See how he bends over from the waist? He gets his top part of his spine perpendicular to the ground. His hands are underneath his shoulders. His hands can go straight back, straight through. That makes the putter head go straight back, straight through. This was that putter that was, I don't know if you remember the story of this, but if you Google it, if you YouTube it, there's a special story about this putter. Nicklaus had this putter specially made, and it was a very long face, so he had a lot of the weight out on the toe, a lot of the weight out on the heel, and so it was extremely smart what he did. But so Nicklaus putted like this, but also Michelle Wie did this thing. See what she's trying to do? She's trying to make basically a 90-degree angle with her body so her shoulders turn on this plane that's perpendicular to the ground. That's what she's shooting for here. So this is when she won the Women's U.S. Open. This is Nelly Korda. Same thing. We have her eyes more over the golf ball, and her hands are underneath her shoulders. So when you're putting, your hands are not underneath your shoulders. That would be one thing I would do is kind of I would straighten your legs a little bit, get this eyes more out over the golf ball. That's going to get your hands underneath your shoulders. That way your hands can go straight back, straight through, and we can keep this putter face perpendicular to that line. Anyway, hope that helps. We can see a few, good technique here. Eyes more over the golf ball, hands underneath the shoulders. That helps the putter head go straight back, straight through. So if we take a look here, and then what happens is when those hands slow down, that ends up also closing that putter face. So those are a few things I see right out of the box in terms of setup. And the setup really kind of hinders your putter head path and putter face alignment. Anyway, hope that helps a little bit. But I hope we get to work together on your putting in your game.